Welcome to NFT Gaming. I will show you how to play Master Kung so you can win as much as possible and maximize your earnings. We will go through Master Kung's strengths and weaknesses, the playstyle for winning, how to use his ultimate, and then we will break down his capsules. Let's talk about his strengths first. He has the highest defensive stats of all characters. He has very good chasing potential. He is very good in 1 versus 1s. With the increased hits capsule, his last attack knocks enemies down, which is very annoying to play against. He is very hard to kill, not just because of his tankiness, but also because his evasion is good for both chasing and disengaging. He is probably the best character when it comes to creating room for his teammates. Now his weaknesses. He is a melee character, so he can struggle against some characters like Sugar and Margaret, which will prevent him from going in. You can get bad RNG and not get the increase hits capsule. That will decrease his damage output and overall usefulness drastically. And that is all the weaknesses I could think of. Master Kung is very strong. So how do you play him? It depends on the role you have in your team, but the way I like to play him is to force 1 versus 1s against enemies. If you have good capsules, you are very likely to win the 1 versus 1, and if the enemy team will try to run away, Master Kung is a good chaser with his evasion, so you can always catch up to the enemy and kill him. If you cannot force these 1 versus 1s, then just going in and tanking and creating room for your team is fine. Now how to use his ultimate. His ultimate is pretty strong. Unlike many other ultimates, it doesn't have a cast time, so it's way harder to dodge. But you can still predict it or just accidentally dodge it. That's why the way I like to use it is, I wait for the enemy to use all his evasion charges and then I ult. This way the enemy won't be able to avoid it. But if you manage to pull 2 or more enemies to you with your evasion, then using the ultimate on them is also a good option. Now let's break down his capsules. Defense boost 10% is a must-have on every character. The defense stat is very strong and makes you way tankier. Increase hit makes you attack 4 times instead of 2, and the last attack knocks down enemies. This capsule is crucial on Master Kung and you should always get it. Attack speed is a great stat on Master Kung. It increases his damage output by a significant amount and you can knock down enemies way quicker with your last attack. Evasion speed makes Master Kung have his evasion up pretty much all the time, which makes it impossible to run away from him, and it's also very hard to kill him. Evasion increase is amazing on Master Kung, since he has only 1 evasion charge by default. This capsule will bring it up to 2 charges. This allows you to go in a fight with 1 evasion charge, and if you realize that's not a position you want to be in, you can just get out with the 2nd evasion charge. So this capsule makes Master Kung very hard to kill, especially when combined with evasion speed capsule. On-hit defense up simply makes you way tankier. The ultimate finisher recharge capsule can be very powerful if you manage to get the resets. But if you miss the ultimate or it doesn't kill the opponent, then this capsule will be completely worthless until you get your ultimate charged again. So you have to be careful when using this capsule. Attack speed 4% is definitely not as good as 8%, but it is still good. Attack boost 8%, crit rate 20%, HP 10% and defense 3% are all solid stat bonuses. The damage attack capsule boost disappears after 2 seconds of not taking damage. This capsule can be very good if you have a lot of defensive capsules and the enemy team is damaging you all the time. But if you are not taking damage, then this capsule is completely worthless. Evasion barrier will give you quite a lot of barriers if you combine it with the evasion speed capsule. Now we are already at tier C. These capsules are pretty bad and you should try to avoid them. Attack boost 4%, crit rate 10% and HP 5% don't make much difference. Barrier attack seems like a very good capsule at first glance. But there are 2 problems with this capsule. I analyzed my gameplay and I realized that most of the time I actually don't have barriers on me. It takes a hit or 2 to get rid of a barrier and the enemies usually take it down. That is the first problem. The second problem is that this capsule requires you to have the veteran barrier and evasion barrier capsules. But in a game, the capsule choices are random and a lot of times you won't even get the option to choose these capsules. These two problems make the barrier attack capsule pretty worthless and I try to avoid it. I would only pick this capsule if you already have the veteran barrier and evasion barrier capsules. Veteran barrier capsule doesn't really work since most of the time as a Master Kung you will be in the middle of the fight taking damage. Last hit boost description says that it greatly increases the damage of last hit, but it increases the damage only by around 20% on average. Since the 20% damage boost only works on the last hit and not the other ones, then this capsule is not that great. And lastly, the evasion attack extension capsule. I was testing this capsule in the test room and it increases the pulling area by around 15%, which is pretty insignificant. But even without this capsule, the area for pulling enemies into you is pretty big and you should never really miss it. So this capsule is pretty pointless. And that is all the capsules. Remember, try to force 1 versus 1 fights since Master Kung is very strong at these. Use your ultimate on multiple enemies or when an enemy doesn't have evasion charges and cannot avoid it. Pick capsules that are in the higher tiers in the tier list. And that's the whole video. Please hit the like button if it was helpful, it means a lot to me. Thank you and I wish you a wonderful day.